Hello and welcome to Mastermind. Our mission is to build million-dollar businesses so that we can have financial freedom, time for our families, and make an impact in our communities. Let's kick it off with some big wins. Isaac, lead the way.
Yeah, so that was actually going to be my big win was just the community engagement that we're experiencing. And yeah, we got the ad in the newspaper, and I feel like it's just starting to increase exponentially, just the level of interaction and awareness that the
Mhm.
community's having around what we're doing. And it's funny because at the same time that's growing, our employees are like dropping like flies. And so it's in this weird spot of, man, people are really wanting us to do work, and then workers aren't wanting to do it. But I'm doubling down, digging my heels in, and saying, this is what I'm doing. So I'm not going to go backwards. And surprisingly more encouragement than anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Now, I probably shouldn't have talked about it before we started the meeting, but
No,
would
no
you just
worries.
quick recap for those who weren't here?
Yeah, a girl reached out who works for the local newspaper and asked if she could do a write-up in the paper about us, and really just talked about specifically the community spotlights that we're doing and what a cool impact that's having on the community. And I think the fact that just as part of your system that you just do it to give back and you're not like charging companies for these videos,
Mhm.
I think just shows a lot of rapport of your character when you do that. And so I think that's standing out. And then, yeah, so she just did a write up of a little bit about us and what we're doing and how cool it is. And yeah, it was
Mhm.
really neat. So,
Again, well done. And just to share it, so a community spotlight is when you just go out into your community and you interview people, business people you want to trust, and 8 minute interview and simple, just introduce them and tell them a little bit about their business, and then you share it to your social networks and email it to your client list. Word about this got around for Isaac, and paper reached out and said, "Hey, we want to write an article about what you're doing here."
yeah,
And yeah, so well done, fantastic,
appreciate it.
good execution. My pleasure. Chris, morning, sir.
Good morning. My big win is I'm just getting really happy with the overall customer experience. Like the customer we closed yesterday, they found us through Google, booked me, got just super easy for them. We show up. We didn't I didn't close that job on the spot, but they were really excited about the color consultation, which we're doing now, which is great. And also they were trying to figure out bathroom stuff, and I was able to lead someone from our BNI group to them. So we're just any questions or friction that would have stopped the sale from closing, we're able to answer the question about the color. Here's your color consultation. Able to answer the question about the bathroom. Here's your bathroom guy. And pretty much close them the next day. Just really happy about how it went, really smooth. Gave him some, and then gave him cookies at the end, and just really feel like we're distinguishing ourselves and just standing out. Really happy.
Yes, well done. Fantastic. Good execution. Daryl.
Yeah. Got several. It's funny that you mentioned you can book me. I forgot about that. I told Steve in my one-on-one, I have a customer that reached out, or not a customer, but a person who reached out who is a customer now that got me from You Can Book Me and sold about a 17, $18,000 interior. And he has a local business, a big trucking company where they work on trucks. They do chrome and accessories. Anyways, after I bid the job, I don't say I could not, but I did not bid it on the spot 'cause it's so extensive and they were trying to get out the door. It's a lot of work. Anyways, got the job a couple of days later. He had me meet him at his shop where they work and sold a $24,000 exterior for their building. So I sold two jobs for the same guy through You Can Book Me. Now I'm in a smaller area. They know who I am anyways, but it's just like Steve says, the top of mind stuff. They see my trucks. They went on YouTube, they went on Google, they saw me, then You Can Book Me just made it so simple. And
Hmm.
so that was really cool. And so our crews are going good, jobs are going good. And I have a funeral I'm attending on Thursday in Texas. So I'm able to take off 3 days unexpectedly this week after taking off 2 days last week because I was on a camping trip. But it was just really nice to know I had my crew taking care of things. And
Hmm.
Isaac, I was in that spot for about a year and a half about the employee situation. It was tough. I pressed through. I wanted to give up. I
Yeah.
literally wanted to give up, but I pressed through, and I'm glad I did not give up. So,
Well done. Fantastic, Daryl. Thank you for sharing. And Rich, big wins.
Did a 5-day vacation for our holiday weekend. That was a pretty big win for me. It was just in the
Nice.
Finger Lakes. I have a camper up there.
Mhm.
Work's coming in. I don't have anything spectacular,
Yeah.
but the
good.
5-day vacation was nice. Just sit back and relax and not really worry about much.
Okay. Fantastic. Glad to hear it and glad to see you.
Yeah.
All right. One thing, Isaac, what's the one thing we could brainstorm for you such that might make it easier for you to double your business faster?
Yeah. So I was just wondering, in your experience, when you were working with Peak Painting and Campbell Painting when they were early on, do you remember if there was any one thing that really helped them to go from like maybe the $300,000-$400,000 range to 5, 6, 7 as they were starting to grow? Or was it just a nation of all your stuff in the system?
What? And really, it's so generally it's convergence is the one thing, convergence of everything, right? Yeah, because I was thinking like, what's one thing I can tell people so that they get it? It's everything. But with this stage, there is an element to the stage, and this stage there is one thing, and that is getting 4 all-stars, getting 4 all-stars in the field, so that you can get out of the field. Because once you get out of the field, then you can focus on working on the business, and that's when really take off. Yeah, he can double again in 1 year.
Yeah, because that's actually literally what my wife and I were talking about yesterday was it's like, man, either I could just inch along or I just get 4 guys and get 2 vans going. And as much as I hate debt, I'm considering just getting a little bit of debt to get another van and get it just stocked, built out, and just ready to go. So no, that's encouraging.
So I don't like that either. However, when it comes to company vehicles, if it's the right vehicle, the right payment, I would never say go out and buy an $80,000 pickup truck. That's just. But I do believe it is okay to go out and get a small loan for a reasonable car payment because that vehicle is very valuable. It does multiple things for you, professionalizing, branding, and it builds value into the crew leader that you assign it to. And I think that I don't have the data on this one. It feels like they just pay for themselves. They were never an issue. And some we paid for and some we leased, or not leased, excuse me, no, not leased, payments. And as long as the payment's reasonable, I think it's absolutely worth it to get these crews out and get them rolling and for branding. And also, in fact, it builds value into the relationship with the crew leader and they feel good about themselves. They go home and say, hey, I was given a company vehicle. Okay, your dad, check me out or whatever. And then they'll say, hey, can we use it to run to the grocery store or whatever? And I said, absolutely. Drive that thing everywhere. Yeah, but make sure you brand park. So when you go to the bowling alley with your family or when you go to the movie theater, make sure you park where everybody can see it. I don't even care if it's illegal. If you get towed, I'll pay for it because everybody's going to see it getting towed across town, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we did. I parked it on the curb sides or whatever. So I always push the envelope. And sure enough, like everywhere I went, people said, man, we see you guys everywhere. I remember I had a guy, we were in Venice. He went to Outback Steakhouse down in Cape Coral, which was like an hour south. And one of my friends, somebody I knew down there, texted me, said, hey, just seen one of your HHRs here at the Outback. And I was thinking, and I was like, oh yeah. And then I took a guess and I posted up and grouped me and I said, hey, Steven, how's that steak? And he goes, what, man? He goes, you have these things GPSed? I said, no, you did a great job parking. And somebody I knew saw it.
Yeah, that's
You
awesome.
know? So vehicles, yes. I'm not a fan of debt. Okay.
Yeah.
But I believe that these vehicles, a reasonable vehicle, clean, and a clean vehicle that looks good going down the road, branded.
Yeah.
Get it branded. You don't have to wrap them. I'm not a fan of wrapping, and $2,000-$3,000 isn't always necessary. If you can get your logos on them, which I think you did. Actually, you do a beautiful job. You've got an eye for design, so I don't have to tell you anything about that there. But I
Yeah.
would, get a vehicle and lean into just whatever you can do to get 4 guys. Usually, because I say 4 guys, because it's usually 4 guys, depending on how you live. Now, if you're living above your means, you're gonna need 8 guys, right? But if you're living a reasonable lifestyle, and you can some guys get out of the field with 3, but it's 3, 4 guys can offset your expense so that you can get out of the field and just start networking, marketing, and selling your tail off.
Yeah.
And get out of the field, you can double in 1 year, get to 8 guys.
Sweet.
I'll back
Perfect.
up what Steve was saying about the vehicle thing, because Steve knows about my financial situation. I don't really have any debt either, except for my house. I have 4 or 5 vehicles. One's personal, but I owe like $9,000 on one of my vehicles, and that's a Jeep that I have $70,000 in. But I owe $9,000 on that, so I don't like debt either. But I took on a 2010 or 11 F-150, really nice, for one of my guys. I actually tried to take a loan out on it when I got it. I can't remember what, something was going on with the timing, so I ended up paying cash for it. Ended up not taking a loan, but I would not have had any problem taking $15,000 for a really nice work truck. Ended up paying 11,000. Yeah, debt, small debt on a work truck that's nice, and you've got the right employees in it. It does phenomenal. It does phenomenal for you.
One of my big concerns is having the van organized, and my father-in-law builds out vans that like basically with plywood and stuff makes it really nice with drawers and everything so that there's a spot for rollers, brushes, everything, and it's not just all thrown in. And I wondered, Steve, with your HHRs, how did you have enough room for all your equipment and getting ladders and stuff to jobs?
Yeah, good question. We had pickup trucks too. So we used
Okay,
HHRs and we used pickup trucks.
okay,
And pickup trucks had ladder racks on them. But for
okay,
the HHRs, we used totes. They'd keep all their tarts in a tote, and we systematized everything so there were same size totes, and everybody, each crew had a color, and so they knew what's what.
okay,
And all the large items were kept in the storage unit, pressure washers, ladders over 8 feet tall. We had one HHR that had ladder racks on it, actually.
okay.
Yeah, but inside HHR, you could fit an 18-foot step ladder and an 16-foot extension ladder if you put the passenger seat down. It'd go all the way into the dash.
Hmm.
Yeah, but also we stayed away from tall projects
Yeah,
to keep it simple. We like to just turn projects over as fast as possible. And
yeah.
so we stayed away from large projects and we had a lot less problems too. But we use pickup trucks as well for the large extension ladders. We had them and for the pressure washers and whatnot.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Mm.
Very helpful. Thanks, guys.
Okay, you're welcome. Good question.
For clarification, when you say 4 all-stars, do you mean 4 leads or do you mean 2 leads, 2 helpers?
Yeah, for leads get a vehicle. We gave every lead a vehicle.
Gotcha.
And yeah, and we encouraged them to take them home. We encouraged them to use them when they go to the grocery store, when they take their family bowling, and then just park where everybody can see it.
Steve,
It's a,
I think he was asking about four people on the team so you can step out.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. It's 4 people. However, you stack your team is up to you, but the economics is usually 4 people, provided you live a modest lifestyle, provided you're taking a modest income. But if you're already like capturing profits, then you're gonna need more than 4 people. But it's just 4 people. However you stack your team is up to you. And so it could be 2 teams of two, one large team if you're doing a bunch of large projects. But it's usually about 4 painters. When I say all
Okay.
stars, yeah, I meant the leads. But when all 4 people are all stars, it means their culture's strong and they're getting after it. They're taking care of the customers. When you have 4 all stars, you really can explode out of the field.
Cool.
Okay, you're up, Chris.
My question is about networking and just about being intentional, who to be intentional with, how to create value. I wrote down like how to create value for realtors, how to create value for interior designers, what problems do they have that I can solve, and what other key people should I be thinking about?
White collar. This is the one that most don't think about. But seriously, whose homes do you want to paint? I want to paint. I want to paint the lawyers' clients' homes. I want to paint the doctors' clients' homes. I want to paint the dentist clients' homes, right? I want to paint the CPA's clients' homes. Those are the guys that I would spend time with and connect with, and network with, and have one-to-ones and lunches and coffees with. Now the others too, but the white collar, it's their clients that I want, that I really want.
And the way you market will bring those. It's weird with me. I have a reputation with a lot of people as just being too expensive. But most of the people that say that are the customers that I don't want anyways. I'm
Mhm.
in the unique geographic area. It's not real huge. I've branded myself out of bidding on cheap houses. I hardly turn any of those lower income houses away because I've marketed myself in such a way that I attract the higher in the A clients who have the money that are willing to pay what you're worth. And so, yeah, your branding will flesh out the weeds.
I guess my question's a little bit about, I appreciate what you're saying, but my question, I guess, would be about like key networking contacts. Like, for example, a realtor has a problem. They need a house painted in order to sell or whatever. Color consultant has a problem. We've sold this job. We need this painted. And it's like a repeat thing, right?
Okay, can we address the first one? The realtor has a client who needs a house to sell and they need it painted. But you know what else? They need it painted cheap because they're selling it. And they're in a rush.
You're going to go for the buyer.
Yeah, you want buyer agents only. Those are the other end of the spectrum. They just bought a house. Now they want to make it their home. And they're willing to invest what it takes. Usually.
That's helpful.
Stay away from sellers. That's why I'm not overzealous about realtors or joining a board of realtors. Some people do and you can, but it's just so hard to stay away from the sellers. The sellers will come at you. Hey, we're selling. We need it painted right away and we need it done can you just go through and touch it all up? 5,000 square foot home, right? Somebody lived there 20 years. You just go through and touch it all up. Oh man, no. So be careful there. Designers, yeah, there's an opportunity there. But really, like I said, just stay top of mind. Tell your white collars. In fact, community spotlights. Spotlight them all.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's helpful. So yeah, because you hear other key people I was wondering about was like maybe property managers, although it's not something I'm interested in, but just trying to think of easy repeat business. But I appreciate what you're saying. Like you're probably where you find easy repeat business, you probably find much more competitive pricing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Yeah.
So do you want to know where your recurring revenue is going to come from? Your easy recurring revenue?
Where?
Step 9 in the system.
Top of mind, right? Okay.
Once you get that flywheel going, you just show up to estimates, connect with them, have a water or coffee with them, and I look over the job a little bit, tell them the price, and they say, okay, when can you do it?
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Alrighty. Okay. Keep up the good work, buddy.
Yeah.
Daryl.
Yeah. So I remember, I think it was Ron Ramsden a couple, 2 or 3, 4 years ago. I don't know. Was talking about stay interviews. And I've been thinking about a stay interview, and I'll explain that to some of you who may not know it, but I liken it to when those of you who are married, you're dating your girlfriend, you're doing everything good, you're on your best behavior all the time, you're doing things well. Then you get married, 10 years later, you're drinking, getting fat, and blah, blah, blah. Then you lose your wife because you're not taking care of her. So that's a long story short of what I've seen in the world. But it happens in the business too, because we get so excited when we get somebody and then we don't take the time to stop by the job. Instead of talking about the job, just talking about them. So I've done that a little bit. I want to do a little bit more, just talking about what they're doing, how they're doing. But I did reach out to my team last week and told them I'm going to take everybody out. I got 4 team members. I'm going to take them out to lunch one-on-one. Said it's not about business. It's not any kind of discipline. It's just I want to see where things are at with you and me and things like that. But I don't really know how to. I know how to talk, but I don't know some good key points to bring up on a stay interview. You're staying. Why are you staying? I want to ask, what would it take if somebody on another company was offering you a job, what would it take for you to leave me? Because I want to know that. But I also don't want to have their wheels spinning either.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't. So good. That's wise. I wouldn't ask that question. Instead, I would just say, hey, I would start with the net promoter. Hey, John, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's your experience here? See what number they give you. Say 8, maybe 9. Say, thank you. What would make it a 10? And then if the conversation's going and you're getting good insight, go ahead and go into the 4 whats.
Yeah, I've got that on my list.
Okay. And just for those listening, you start off with what's working to get it positive, productive, and then you ask what's not working and what's missing. And then the 4th one is what's next. And the important thing about the what's next question is you make sure you assign an owner and a due date to the tasks that are what's next, or what was missing, what's next. So I would just open with a net promoter. On a scale of 1 to 10, how's your experience?
Yeah, I've never done anything like a stay interview, but I think it'll bring some value to your relationship because I care. I think right now, Isaac, I know you're having issues with some of your team members, but right now I've got the best culture I've ever had, and I'm not scared of losing it, but I want to make sure I'm doing the things that I was first doing to keep them and attract them, because I spent thousands and thousands of dollars over a year and a half on Indeed and other avenues looking for team members.
Yeah.
And so I want to keep what I have because I think they're good. So I just want to have those conversations with them. I think I've done really good too, you guys, just to make yourself accountable and approachable to your team, not defensive when they bring up a criticism. That's one thing that's been really good with my team and me. I've proven that because they have had conversations with me about certain things. I didn't get defensive about it, and just they're little things, but it's okay. What do I need to do to change that? So I think I've built the trust in them, but I think the next step is to do a stay interview. So that's how I'm going to start. I was going to do it this week, but I'm going to be gone for that funeral, so I'm going to start it next week.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daryl. Rich.
Well, I've been about getting my estimate a bit more on check. Just wondering what everyone else is using for software and hardware, a tablet kind of software. I currently use Joyce, but some of the things that I'm doing, I think it takes a little bit longer to write it on the spot estimate. I do about 50% of the time I do an on the spot estimate, and the other time I take it home, do it in the office and send it right away. But I just was wondering what's the best estimating software rate available right now, and maybe what kind of tablet or whatever everybody else is using for that.
Right on. Good questions. Okay, guys, what are you using?
I like using drip jobs with an iPad. I found that just all the different aspects of what drip jobs offers as well just ties it all into one system, but then also being able to customize it where you can add small details. You can put a link to a YouTube video of a testimonial, and it just looks really nice as you're sitting there just going through it with them. Yeah, I think it's worth the investment.
Yeah, I just got drip jobs. I should have gotten it a few years ago, but I was in a bad spot with my employees and I let things get away with me. But I just got signed back up with it. I don't even look at what is it, 150 a month or whatever. That's a small investment because you think about the presenting of the proposals. I'm still doing Microsoft Word with a portable laptop and a printer, and I'm selling like crazy. But drip job is going to make it so much easier and so much professionalized. There's nobody even doing what I'm doing now, let alone doing drip jobs. It's a game changer on that. So and the guy that owns it, Tanner, he's always looking to improve, and he's taking feedback. He's a painting contractor full time right now, so he does what we're doing. So yeah, drip jobs.
I know we talked a little bit about last meeting with me about the drip jobs, but I don't know. Still haven't bit the bullet yet.
I switched from Joyce to drip jobs last year, and what got my attention with it honestly was just the drips, because I wasn't able to keep up with whether it was a lead or it was a estimate sent out, and just those drip emails already were closing more jobs. The Joyce presentation is maybe better than some, but the drip jobs one is super customizable and it looks really good. And there's a really easy, Joyce might have this too, but there's a real easy sign here, pay now button at the bottom that goes directly to a credit card, and they go ahead and put their deposit down right there. It integrates with Stripe. I can't say enough good things about drip jobs. And two things I wanted to mention was Steve can tell you about his tech stack where you get a bunch of different apps all lined up and integrated with Zapier. And then now you have a mega app basically, doing all kinds of different things for you. And the other thing I would recommend is doing Steve's estimating course, because that's brilliant too. And he'll have you showing your video testimonials in your presentation right there on the spot, asking great questions to get the job closed. So definitely recommend all of that.
Okay, thank you.
I posted the link. I have a link for a 75-day free trial for you. I think it's the biggest one they offer. I think the standard is 14. So I posted a link in GroupMe for you, Rich, for a 75-day free trial.
Okay.
And then I'm
That's
going
what
to
I
post.
did.
I have to get back on GroupMe. I forgot all about GroupMe, actually.
And then I'll post the Zap flowchart in there for you too that Chris just mentioned.
All right.
I use
Right.
Joyce. You won't go back.
I'm gonna check it out, definitely.
Yeah, he has job costing now as well, which is fantastic.
I'd seen some ads on that, and I just, wow, this thing looks pretty intense. So, but I
Mhm.
think it's the next step for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then to Isaac's note, iPad, because Apple's the way to go. Yeah. No, whichever one you go, I prefer Apple. I used to be anti-Apple. I used to just criticize them like, you suckers, that's all branding. Yeah, you and your polo shirts and your BMWs can take your apples and eat them,
Right.
until a customer got like the new iPad 2 back in the day. And I was like, can I see that? And I'm looking at them, whoa, this is pretty neat. And sure enough, I was in. Bought an iPad, and then I bought an iPhone, and then I bought my first MacBook. And so my point is, whichever way you go with whichever system, I recommend you go all in on one or the other. I don't know about PCs, but I can tell you in the Apple world is that you can start a text on your phone and finish on your laptop and vice versa. I can copy something on my laptop and paste it on my phone just via Bluetooth, and it's just everything syncs, text or all. So it's just streamlined. And so that's what I really love about them.
I'll give you that one.
Okay.
It's easy.
Yeah. And there's no circle of death anymore. They don't slow down. You just go.
And there are no
It's
viruses. Didn't Apple?
no viruses. Yeah, you don't need a virus thing.
Yeah, that's crazy because
Yeah.
I'm paying like a couple $100 a year for antivirus for my laptops.
Yeah, no more of that nonsense. It's all gone. Just peace of mind. I open it up and work and close it, and it just works. Their motto used to be, it just works. It's true. It just works. And so,
Yeah. Yeah, I've had my MacBook since 2014 and haven't had no problems.
wow.
I even dropped it in an airport and just about broke. It's all like bent in one corner. Thing's a beast.
Yeah, I say all that to say I was wrong because I was so anti. I thought it was all marketing and branding. I was so wrong. And I used to be the biggest anti-Apple guy out there until I saw the light. Now I drink the Kool-Aid. So
And then you start an iClass.
iClass, yeah. Oh man, iClass. That was an awesome ABA. Yeah, a lot of fun there. Alrighty, we've got a little extra time. Anybody else have anything else they would like to discuss?
Yeah,
Brainstorm
I have
attack?
one
Isaac?
on my notes. Oh, go
Okay.
ahead, Isaac.
I just wondered with You Can Book Me,
Mhm.
with the ease of how they can just pick a time, is that like way better still than the integrated booking link with Drip Jobs where all their information is just automatically in there and ready to go? I don't know which route because the Drip Jobs one has been working for me where they give two different options on days they're available and give recommended time they're available, but didn't know if the ease of You Can Book Me would be that much of an increase.
That's a really good question.
Can you not do both? Can you not still have You Can Book Me on your website?
Like you can probably have it on your website. I just didn't know if the information that it asks for, if that automatically integrates into Drip Jobs like it does with my Drip Jobs link.
So according to this fancy Zapier automation flowchart, it starts with You Can Book Me and goes right into Drip Jobs.
Oh, okay.
April
So-
just did this for me. I
Did
can
she?
confirm. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Personally, I think I would still lead. I appreciate what Tanner's doing. Personally, I think would still lead with You Can Book Me because it saves a step or two. They can see the whole calendar and they can just schedule it.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
That's
like
step
that.
one. Step one, it's scheduled. There isn't a link or pick a couple things back and forth. I like efficiency with that respect.
Yeah.
So I'd go with YouTube or You Can Book
You
Me.
Can Book Me.
You Can
I
Book Me
haven't
help me with accountability too on my calendar.
Yeah.
Mm.
When you click through and pick a time, does it ask them questions about their project and get all their information still? Okay.
Yep. You can set up your questions.
And then last thing with that, if it's a project that you don't want, how do you tell them, hey, thanks for booking, but we're gonna have to cancel?
Yep, good question. So as part of the pre-qualifying process, and I have a sheet for this, my graphic for you. And you what you do is you usually can use the how soon do you want it done question. So the how soon do you want it done question serves you both ways. It helps you to close them on the spot if you want them, and it helps you to refer them away if you don't. And what we do is we come from a perspective of taking ownership of our production calendar. What I mean by that is just because we have an opening in 3 weeks, it doesn't mean that's our next opening for them. Okay.
Right.
So if it's a job that's just not a good fit, usually what the easiest way is say, unfortunately for your project, our first availability isn't until whenever the dead of winter. The only time you'd consider doing a doghouse, right?
Right.
Now, it doesn't mean that's your first availability. It's your first availability for that project.
Yeah.
Okay, because you only do those projects then. Does that make sense? So we're
Yeah.
taking ownership of our production calendar. So this is one long sentence with a comma in between, and it's very important because this saves space, and they're actually happy. You send them away happy. And so you say, Isaac, unfortunately for your project, our first availability is until January. However, here are the name and numbers of two other companies who I think can get to you much sooner.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, wow, okay, thank you so much. They're grateful for two reasons. They don't have to start over, and it's a referral.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I had
Everybody-
a guy a couple weeks ago. I was talking about he's selling his house. He got me on You Can Book Me, and said I'm selling my house. Need it done in the next couple months. I just need one side of the house done and some touch up on the other. I called him back and immediately and said, "Man, thank you so much for filling out your appointment online." But we're like 3 months out right now, and he said he'd already had some other painter looking at it. I'm like, I think you should go with them because they're pretty reasonably priced. I would go with them, and I did not waste any time but 2 minutes on a phone call. And my You Can Book Me had that question on there already. What is your timeline getting this done? On the other side, I had another customer that was in a bit of a hurry too, but he was buying a house and it was inside and it was just a few rooms. And long story short, I finished his job. It was about 3 days. He was a member of Rotary in a town 2 hours away. He just moved here. I invited him to Rotary. He was at my Rotary meeting yesterday and gave him an application. He probably is going to join our Rotary Club. So I took
Oh,
on
cool.
this minute job and it worked out.
That's
But it
awesome.
was my discretion. I was able to do that because I wanted to.
Cool.
I recently integrated the You Can Book Me thing. I think it's just that much easier for the client. It is, or the prospective lead. It's a question of what are these two dates that would work for you, which is great. But the calendar is allowing them to book that. It's allowing them to pick their time. It allows them to look at their calendar. And I think there's something about it that also solidifies it, where there is another step included because when you do it through the trip jobs form, because there's these two dates and you need to confirm it, which is something that, like, I don't know, skipping a step for you. You don't want to, what if you missed it, right? What if you didn't, so there's that also, but I don't know, you want to empower the person as much as they can and make it easier. And it's a little difference, but I feel like I've seen a difference since using it of more people booking. It's also right there on the website. You might be passively scrolling and then, oh, here's a calendar right here. And what is his availability? And all I have to do is click and it's just no friction.
Do you ever get an appointment that's, oh boy, that was open? I don't actually have time.
Yeah.
That's the accountability part of it, Isaac.
Yeah.
I learned
It's
that.
not, It's not as bad as you think, though. You integrate it with drip jobs. You integrate it with all your other stuff. I put my BNI meetings in there every week. Chamber of Commerce and Rotary both have calendars that you can download and just put into your Google Calendar. So it's already in there. I might not be going to all those meetings, but those times are blocked off in case I need to. And so there isn't a lot of space, actually, which also creates scarcity, right? You have to be on it. You have to be using it. But it wasn't very hard for me to take to.
Okay.
Because I wasn't living by a calendar 3 months ago. Now everything's in the calendar all the
There
time.
you go. Yeah, and Isaac, and if you have to call them and say, I'm sorry, there was a mistake or a conflict and we need to reschedule, nobody was ever upset. They were just so impressed that they were able to book it that they understand that sometimes with the technology and efficiencies that might need to be changed. And they're saying, oh, yeah, no problem. What works? And I'd been looking at my calendar throughout a few times or dates and, okay, yeah, that works great. Thank you so much. But they
Yeah.
were never upset. They were so impressed that they were able to book something. In fact, there are many guys, I'd show up And after every sale, this is important. Make sure we're all doing this. After every sale, I say, thank you. You could have went with another company. Why'd you go with us? And I remember Mr. Scott said, it was so easy to book you. I didn't call anybody else. You had the job before you got here. And I said, did I say 5,000? I meant 7.
That's awesome.
And Daryl, you had one?
Yeah, I think it was mainly a question for Isaac. You had said something, I think it was Isaac, when you were doing like qualifying questions for prospective employees. You were doing like a virtual, send them a video where they can answer questions that are asked or something like that. Is it you that did that? How
Yeah.
did you set that up?
So there were so many people coming in on Indeed that rather than give them an in-person interview right away, I just sent them an email like, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. I liked some of the answers to your questions. I just wondered if you could do a selfie video answering these 3 questions. And it's just, I think I asked, I can't remember specifically the 3 I used, but it was very telling based on how they were on camera and the way that they answered the questions. And then I just had them send it via WeTransfer.com because
How do you
then you don't
pronounce
have
that?
to work.
WeTransfer?
Yeah, just WeTransfer.com. They can upload up to 2 gigs and it just basically sends a link to your email address. It's really simple.
Okay, great.
And there were some guys that were just like, I don't know, real raggedy and just didn't really care. And then there was one girl that like had smoke in the background. You could tell she like must have been smoking or something. But then there were a couple guys that were just really professional, answered really well. And it's like, okay, I'll interview them. Just saving myself time, just having multiple filters along the way.
Yeah, that's cool.
a
That's
great
I'm
idea.
gonna look into that. Thank you.
I've got a question. I have a question about problem resolution. And just obviously the best way to deal with the problem is to avoid it, like an unhappy customer, anticipate any problem that could happen and to prevent it. But we have a job that it's just gone south. He wants us out of there. And so I guess the question is just when you don't want these things to happen, you do your best to not let them happen, but sometimes they happen. And do you have any thoughts or anything about just damage control and making sure, and maybe even a question about how you think about refunds, at what point should you be thinking about that? I'm even wondering if like the way that this job happened, I should have been even offering some type of refund or something earlier on so that I don't have to offer as much as I probably do now because it did go on for a while. So any ideas about kind of problem resolution?
It depends on what the problem is, but Steve shared a link from YouTube as because the best way to handle a problem is head on and quickly, very quickly. And I liked the summary of Crucial Conversation. You should listen to that. It's 6-8 minutes long. It's a summary of that book. It is so good. I had that with one of my employees not too long ago, and it helped out a lot. And Steve has always said, it's usually the problem is not the problem, that you're having on there. You've got to ask a few questions to get into the real issue of why the conflict's even going on. And that's not going to happen if you don't have a quick conversation with that customer. I've had it a few times, but I'm really quick to confront, not in a confrontational way, but I confront very quickly when there's an issue. I don't let it fester with anybody, whether it's personal or business. I go in at it. But I always, like with an employee who's an all-star right now, he almost quit on me about 3-4 months ago because he had a misunderstanding of a situation and it was totally wrong. But I went in this conversation with him and I apologized for me not being personal with him and understanding his situation, and his guard just completely dropped. And it went from that, him almost quitting, to now he is a super all-star. I'm talking in 3-4 months time. And it was because I didn't go in there and trying to defend myself. I was apologetic and like I was sincere, looking at him in the eye. And I am sorry that this has come to this. What can I do to make this better? And the Crucial Conversation thing really helped. It's a 6-minute listen, 7-minute. It's really good.
I'm grabbing the link now, post it in group me. I have a summary, but it was too much to post in the chat. So here's the video.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Check it out for sure.
Yeah, but you need one thing about it, man, you need to hit it head on and quickly, very quickly.
And it was kind of situation where we actually took a crew off of the job and put another crew on and tried to be really on top of it and everything. And it just got away from us. One thing I find is you really do have to stay on top of it, because once one thing goes wrong in their mind, everything feels like it's gone wrong. And so you got to always maintain that, just showing that you're on it, or people
Trust.
start wondering maintaining, exactly. Keeping trust. Because as soon as they feel like that trust is broken, that's the perfect word.
Trust you can't do anything wrong, pretty much. But once you do something wrong or offend them or break their trust, you can't do anything right.
And even with this job in particular, I didn't actually lose trust. Like, we shook hands at the end of it, and it was more just they wanted to go separate ways, and I understood at that point. So I don't even know what my question is. I guess I like what you said, Daryl. What can I do to make this better? And at the end of the day, that's whatever they say is all you can do, right? Trying to think if there's like more you can do, but prevent it as much as possible and then make it right, I guess, is the answer.
And learn from it. Learn what you did or didn't do,
Yeah.
and make you better for the next ones.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Hit it fast. Biggest takeaways: hit it fast, hit it head on as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, try to cut it off. Rich,
not in a text message. I would person or phone call.
Yeah, never text. If there's ever an issue, pick up the phone straight away.
Pick up the phone.
Never text message. Yeah.
Yep, always call.
Yeah, always call.
Absolutely.
All right, gentlemen, this has been a fantastic discussion. Appreciate you guys. Let's roll out with takeaways. Isaac, lead the way, please.
I'm gonna check out that summary of crucial conversation, and then just the 4 whats. That's I like that. Yeah, and just doubling down on the thought of getting 4 guys going solid. So good conversation.
And keep that video bookmarked or saved, because you're gonna need to come back to it. And be like, oh my goodness, what was that framework again? And these situations come, hard situations come, and it's part of growth and it's part of leadership. And so, but fortunately, we have that framework there that makes it a lot easier. So save it, and then
Oh,
all
and
right,
you
keep
can
up.
book me. That was good.
Go. Okay, right on. All right, Chris.
I've got 4 all-stars written down here, and even that, I think, in some ways answered my question I had kind of about some issues I've had with production. That I think this is just my new benchmark, actually. Just 4 all-stars, not even thinking about anything. There's lots to think about, but this is a big one to think about until that's done. That's a big one. Target white collar, think about buyer agents, and your recurring revenue comes from staying top of mind. I really liked what's working, what's not working, what's missing, and what's next. I wrote that down. That's great. And I've heard of crucial conversations multiple times, so I'm going to check out that summary and probably read the book.
There you go. I don't know. The book is very corporate and it's dry and it's drug out. Bless you. You're going to be good with the summary. I want to invest in the book. Yeah. The summary is awesome, and it's all you need. I want to save you from some of that. But very cool. Thank you for all those. Appreciate it. Rich?
My takeaways was absolutely the white collar marketing. I do that anyway, but I'm just going to reinforce that. In the drip jobs, I'm going to look into that. And I haven't been on GroupMe in a few years, so I'm going to have to look into how to get that set up again.
Yeah, come back to the party, my friend. We've been missing you.
So we're going to hook up the GroupMe.
There you go. Okay, good deal. Yeah, and those links are in there for you too, with a free trial. And if for whatever reason you don't get in or can't get back in, let me know or email me, and I'll send you the links directly and/or help you get back into GroupMe, the mastermind chat. Okay.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Fantastic. You're welcome. All right, Daryl, no pressure. Close us out.
Yeah, I'm going to look into the WeTransfer.com because I think that sounds like a cool idea. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much. I want to encourage you to do exactly what it does. Be right behind Daryl's shoulder there on the wall. Dream big, hustle smarter. You've got this. Have a great day, guys.
See you guys.
See you guys.
See you guys.
See ya.
Adios. Arrivederci. Ciao.